We start here in 2017, reviewing the optimal and GPP winning lineups. Now, I didn't have a GPP winning lineup in 2017. I just have the optimal. So here we used $49,000 or $49,800. Our winner was $7,700 Mark Leishman, but to finish the optimal lineup, we had a $10,700 Ricky Fowler, $8,500 Justin Rose, $8,200 Matt Kuchar, $7,800 Tony Finau, and a $6,900 Anirban Lahiri. So if you've been here before, you already know this little pitch that I'm going to give you, but I believe you should always start with a 10-9-8-7-7-6 approach. That's a 10K golfer, a 9K golfer, an 8K, 2 7s, and 1 6K golfer, because your GPP winning lineup, I should say that structure has been the most common GPP winning lineup. It's also the most common optimal lineup build. The next one after that's a 10-9-8-7-7-7, and then it's a 10-9-8-7-6-6. Here we have a 10-8-8-7-7-6. Now, that follows the whole idea, because I usually tell you can make up to 2 substitutions, and here we're making 1 substitution, a 9 down to an 8. So you have your 10K golfer, you have your 2 8s, 2 7s, and a 6. Oh, by the way, there is a 9K golfer up here inside the top 10. Jason Day. It's just, he's too expensive. You can't play him. And that's how it happens sometimes. You might not be able to play certain salary builds depending on how expensive the 10K golfers are at the top of the leaderboard and whether or not they score enough DraftKings points to be in the optimal lineup. So keep all that in mind. Let's move to 2018, where our optimal lineup was $49,200. So we're leaving $800 on the table here. I think that's the most amount of money you want to leave on the table. I don't believe in leaving really anything more than $800. I wouldn't leave $1,000. Some people in these limited field events like to get cute and try to leave a ton of money on the table. I don't think that's very wise or smart. Now we've seen 2 optimal lineups, one in 2017, one in 2018, that did not leave $1,000 or more on the table. Here we actually start with another 7K golfer, $7,300 Keegan Bradley. Then we have $11,200, $8,000, $7,700, $8,100, and $6,900. That's 2 years in a row where we've had a 10. Let's call Rom at 11.28, or I'm sorry, Rose at 11.2 as a $10,000 golfer. It's 10,000 and above. So we have one 10K golfer, 2 7s, 2 8s, and 1 6, just like we did in 2017. So it's kind of still following that same method. But by the way, there's a $9,200 Tiger Woods up there as well. So if we wanted to maybe make one of these substitutions, can we? No, it'd be 8,000 to maybe 9,200. Yeah, this would be just a bit overpriced. So you couldn't really do it this way. Just showing you, like, there's still a 9K golfer that's up there. So you have to keep that in mind, because these 7K golfers could be cheap 7Ks. A 10K, 11,200 is pretty expensive, but maybe one of those other 10K golfers can make their way up into the top of the leaderboard. Just some ideas. In 2019, guess what? Our optimal lineup also didn't leave a lot of money on the table. $49,800. I did actually have a GPP winning lineup that time too. So we'll go over both of them. So your optimal, 10,000, 9,000, 8,000, 8,000, 7,000, 6,000. So again, it's almost following that 10-9-8-7-7-6. We are making, for this one substitution. We have one 8K golfer that we could say was a 7. You're subbing a 7 up to an 8. So that's your one substitution with the optimal lineup. Your GPP winning lineup is using those 4 golfers at the top, 10-9-8-8. Then we have a 6K. And then I have to scroll down to find the other one. We have another 6K golfer. That's Emiliano Grillo. So definitely different ways of getting there. I believe, let's see, your optimal lineup scored 724.5 and your GPP lineup scored 703. So 20 points separate the optimal versus the GPP in 2019. In 2020, guess what? We're not leaving a lot of money on the table either. $49,400. So we're only leaving $600 on the table. It starts with a 10K golfer, 8, 7, 7, 7, 7. So we have 4 7K golfers, a 10K golfer, and an 8K golfer. Guess what? That still follows Well, never mind. I will. It doesn't quite follow the sweet spot process because the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 and making 2 substitutions, I believe going 1 tier down is a substitution. So you see there's no 9K golfer. You would actually have to sub one of those 9K golfers or a 9K golfer down twice to a 7K golfer. And obviously we don't have a 6K golfer up there. So you'd have to sub 1 6 up to a 7. So technically there's 3 substitutions. Not that that really matters all that much. 4 7Ks is quite a bit. That's a lot. But just showing you there are different ways of getting there. Now your GPP winning lineup, use an 11K golfer, an 8K, 7, 7, 6. So there you go. You got your 10, 2 8s, 2 7s, and a 6. That won the GPP winning lineup that year. Now the optimal scored 464.5, and the drive the green scored 449. The GPP winning lineup scored 449. So that's like 15 points separates them. That's really, really close. And that was following a 10, 2 8s, 2 7s, and a 6. So super interesting. Moving to 2021, your optimal left $500 on the table. So this one actually starts a little different. 2 9Ks. Let's call that 3 9Ks, an 8K, a 7K, and a 6K. Flat 6K. So that's a bit unique. So more 9K golfers here, and this is like one of the few times you're going to have like a very, very like, I wouldn't even say a balanced build because you still need a low 6K golfer to make this work out. But to have that many 9K golfers in it, like we rarely ever see that with an optimal lineup. Obviously we do here. Just to note, there is a 10K golfer that you could easily get to. You know, 10K, maybe we have 2 9Ks. Say we sub one of our 8s to a 9. You still have 2 7s up here, which leaves us with exactly $6,000, which we can get to KH. So that would be $50,000 using of the salary. So that's a 10, 2 9s, 2 7s, and a 6. Again, different way of getting there. Not all that important. Well, I should say not all that important, but just different ways to theory craft. Your GPP winning lineup left $1,200 on the table. Again, I don't ever advocate for that, but obviously it worked this year. And just to show you the differences in points, the optimal scored 799. The GPP winning lineup scored 758. So there's 50-point difference between the two. That used a 9, 9, 8, 7. Okay, so 2 9s, 2 8s, and a 7 so far. And then we scroll down to find a 6K golfer. So I think every either optimal and or GPP winning lineup had 1 6K golfer in it for certain. And I think 1 8K golfer and 1 7. So a 6, a 7, and an 8. In 2022, the optimal only left $300 on the table. And this also started with 3 9K golfers, which is remarkable. 3 9s, 2 6, 3 9s and 3 6s. Is that right? No, it's not. Sorry. 3 9s, a 7, and 2 6s. That's what made the optimal lineup. Then that scored 605.5. The GPP winning lineup scored 580. So there's a 25-point difference between the two. And your GPP winning lineup left $300 on the table. But like I said, it was 3 9s, 2 6s. Let's see what the other one is down here. And a 7. So that's what, 2 years in a row that there were 3 9K golfers? That's crazy. Like 3 9s in the optimal lineup. Here, obviously, the GPP winning lineup. So maybe that's how it's kind of turning into. Let me just double check something. So this year, I haven't gotten to it to show you, but in 2022, we have our lowest price tag is $6,000. In 2023, our lowest price tag is $5,500. We actually have 5 golfers that are in the 5K range. That might matter. Now, in 2022 and 2021, your golfers actually, or your top of the leaderboard were actually 9K golfers. So you're going to need these guys to be in the optimal lineup no matter what. Those 3. And you also had the same thing in 2021. Like there's no real substitution that you can make a 10K golfer for one of these 9Ks because the 9Ks just scored that many more points than any of the 10K golfers. So 2 years and it was the last 2 years that made the biggest splash with the 9K golfers. So I don't know if that's a trend that we need to keep our eye on, because obviously in 2017, we went with 10, 2 8s, 2 7s, and a 6. You did that also in 2018, and I believe you did it in 2019. Actually, we did have a 9K golfer, so it was a 10, 9, 8, 8, 7, 6. So definitely some interesting ways to build. I think one of the biggest things that I'm going to take away from the pass optimal and GPP lineups is the fact that we didn't leave a lot of money on the table to hit the optimal lineup. And only 1 year was someone weird and left $1,200 on the table to win a GPP. So it isn't required to leave a lot of money on the table. And then there's also very different ways of getting there for different salary constructions. I'm going to add one piece to this segment. This is the engine that powers the bucket system, is all the different bucket tables that I have back here. Just to show you what has happened every single year, just look at this table right here. And when we go across, you're going to see all these frequency numbers. So every single year we've seen a 10K golfer right here inside the top 10. Every single year we've seen an 8K golfer inside the top 10. And every single year we've seen a 7K golfer inside the top 10. And you can go year by year, 2022, 2021, we didn't have any 6K golfers in the top 10. 2020, we had 0 9K golfers inside. That was the only year we did not have a 9K golfer inside the top 10. And that was at Olympia Fields, 2020. So keep that in mind. But we've had a 10, a 9, and an 8, or a 10, 9, 8, and a 7. Basically in every year, -2. So lineup building is going to be very interesting. So if you do the game theory aspect where you're looking for ownership, keep in mind the salary construction that comes with it. Are more people starting with the 10K golfer, or are they just dipping right into the 9s? I think maybe that's a piece that you need to think about. So that's going to cover the pass optimal and GPP winning lineup portion.